Hey guys, and welcome back to another What If here, and somewhat today I'm going to be doing a new What If. I thought I'd go back to what seems to be quite popular, or at least what you guys prefer to watch on the channel, which is female Naruto. So, this is What If Shikamaru had a crush on female Naruto, part 1. And, yeah, no, I did know part because I was somewhat just wanting to do this one, so it's like I'll have the poll up for just two other, or somewhat would probably be 2 or 3 other what ifs, just to see which 2 what ifs you guys want for Wednesday and Friday. Anyway, also guys, I think next month, so March, I'll probably be doing uploading what ifs at around 9, just to see how it's somewhat differs between uploading at 12 and uploading at 9. So yeah. Anyway, just wanted to say that, and also sorry for this being up late. I somewhat forgot to record yesterday. Well, yeah, recorded somewhat last night. Forgot to. Anyway, let's get into this. So we'd start off somewhat in the academy, as it'd be the day of the graduation exam, as though we'd see a young blonde spiky haired somewhat looking boy, as it just somewhat swing out the strings, as he'd let out a sigh, as just think I failed again. And though somewhere in the crowd of parent or families congratulating their sons and daughters, one boy in particular would look over to this young blonde-headed, somewhat seemingly looking boy, and he couldn't explain why, but he felt like crying instead of somewhat being somewhat happy that he'd passed, though it was easy for him. But for some odd reason, he didn't understand why or what was going on, but it just somewhat hurt inside. He couldn't explain why. But yeah, though 2 days would go by, and this boy would once again, though, would somewhat turn up to the academy, as he'd somewhat wonder if somehow the boy he'd seen had managed to pass, and they'd walk in, as he'd somewhat look up. Also, he would just look up to see if there was anyone there, and lo and behold, as he'd wonder somewhat how on earth he'd managed to pass, though, so he'd walk up, as he'd go, hey there Naruto, as he'd somewhat sit down, as he'd go, as said now named boy would somewhat look at the person that just sit down next to him and go, hey Shikamaru, what's up? Nothing, though, how did you manage to pass? So I'm pretty sure the last time I saw you was on a swing looking quite upset, as the is not doing somewhat loud. I was like chucking her. I just got lucky, that have been very, very, very lucky. It's somewhat whack an eyebrow, but I didn't say anything more, as he then just proceeded to somewhat rest his head into his somewhat arms, as though he'd say one more thing before he'd seemingly have a nap, and that'd be somewhat, are you going to reveal your true self, or are you going to continue to somewhat hide under that somewhat minor transformation? The sad boy would go, well, it depends on if my team passes the second test. But yeah, if we pass, then I guess so. There's 0 point in hiding it, as it just cause more trouble down the line. So it'd be better if I reveal my true self. But if my team fails and we end up back here, then, well, yeah, I won't. Shikamaru just somewhat nod as he'd seem to then drift off into sleep. I at least for a while, as he'd then hear, though, yeah, a couple minutes would go by as he'd then hear somewhat chomping, as he'd then somewhat open up an eye, then both his eyes, as he'd see a somewhat chubby boy walking up, as he'd go, Shikamaru would let out a slight yawn as he'd go, hi Choji. Said the boy would someone look at and go, oh, hey there Shikamaru, hey there Naruto. And Naruto go, huh? Oh, hey there, Choji. And Shikamaru would seem to go back off to nap, and as Choji would sit down next to Shikamaru and go, well then, how did you pass? As Naruto would once again just state that he got quite lucky, which Choji would just seem to nod and go, well then, what team do you think will be on? As they'd continue to talk about that and what teams that they could possibly be on and whatever now, and the possible other teams. And with that, a couple more minutes would go by as Shikamaru would once again somewhat wake up and glaring at the door this time, as it sound like a damn herd was like going down the damn corridor. As then seconds later the door would burst open with two girls yelling out they were fast and then arguing. The two girls being one Ino Yamanaka and the other a pink-haired girl being Sakura Harano. They would seem to somewhat be arguing about something, as Shikamaru would go, the troublesome woman, as if someone just look over at a somewhat black-haired boy, as he'd go, I don't get why so many girls somewhat find Sasuke so interesting, as you'd somewhat get, and Naruto would simply respond, I don't know, I'd very much like to know that as well. All that I know is that he's an arrogant jackass that's got an ego as large as the damn Hokage monument, which would cause Shikamaru to snort and Choji to somewhat chuckle, as Choji would then somewhat answer back that he believed that he thought that Sasuke's ego was even larger than the Hokage monument, which would get Naruto to let out a slight chuckle. Well, somewhat giggle and nod. Should go, well, possibly. Could even be bigger than could even be much bigger than what we think it is. Yeah, though a couple more seconds to go by as the door would once again slide open, though Shikamaru somewhat failed to go back to sleep, as it said somewhat two girls had similarly awoken an army of fangirls that were all arguing to sit by the precious Uchiha. Though a simple yell from the sensei would similarly shut them all up, and they would all quickly run to sit down. Yeah, and then the said sensei would start rolling through the teams, as Naruto would seem to somewhat just zone out and stare out the window up until After a while, then she'd somewhat hear Team 7, and she'd hear Sakura Haruno as she's somewhat thinking, please don't be me, please don't be, please don't be, damn it, why do I have to be put up with the dumb pink-haired Banshee? She'd think, and Sasuke Uchiha, she'd go, damn it, why do I even have to be put up with the damned Uchiha prick? No, she'd then somewhat feel a pat on her shoulder as she'd somewhat look over and just as Shikamaru just goes there as she just stare at him as it seemingly let out a slight chuckle. As then note her teammate, and then finally somewhat Team 10 as Naruto seemingly seemed to do the same thing back to Shikamaru and go there, Shika, there. At least you have Choji. As Shikamaru just is somewhat louder, a sigh as you go, yeah, I guess so. And yeah. And so the rest of from there the rest of the day would go down like in canon with the somewhat of the, though minus somewhat the like Naruto going knocking out Sasuke and trying to kiss Sakura. That wouldn't happen. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Though it'd be someone the next day, and well, no, it'd be the day after, because the next day after that would be the team test, or the second test, which would also go down the pretty much the exact same as she may be smart, but she was currently playing the role as an idiotic, which somewhat most people believe that she was a boy, so an idiotic boy. Though currently, due to the fact that it was the day after that, she was somewhat, Naruto was just looking at herself, somewhat naked self in the mirror, as she'd go, well, I guess today's the day I let everyone see my true self, or at least what I actually look like. As, yeah, though there was one clear difference, and that was she had long blood red hair that went down to that went down to her butt. And yeah, though she'd seem to get dressed, as she'd put on, obviously, under her panties, she'd then from there put on a black sports bra, then somewhat black semi-transparent tights, though these were Kanoichi grade tights, meaning that they could channel chakra through them, meaning that once chakra was channeled through them, they'd become as hard as iron. So it's practically like you're walking in a set of iron armor, though without the weight of it. That and had some other benefit, and yeah. So like where instead of somewhat seemingly being semi-transparent around the panties area, when chakra was running through them, besides from hardening to something like besides from becoming as strong as iron, they'd also seemingly that would also seemingly change to black or whatever colour the tights were that the person was wearing. Not wearing black tights, it would darken to pitch black, meaning that if for some odd reason anyone were to somewhat see them, they would only see black and no panties. Anyway, from there she'd somewhat put on a dark blood red skirt that had a seemingly a red spiral embroidered onto it. This red spiral was somewhat none other than the symbol of a once great clan, a once feared and beloved clan. This clan being the Uzumaki clan. From there, she would then put on a somewhat dark red top, a dark red short-sleeved form-fitting top, and after that she'd put on a dark blood red jacket that once again had a somewhat much larger Uzumaki symbol embroidered onto the back of the jacket. And she'd then somewhat look at herself as she then somewhat nod at herself and then decide to put her hair up in a ponytail. After that, she'd then go over to a somewhat kitchen / living room and prepare herself some breakfast. After eating and finishing up her breakfast and washing up, she'd then head into the bathroom to brush her teeth. After that, she'd then go over to her front door and somewhat look at the shoes. Somewhat somewhat Kanochi grade shinobi shoes. She'd then somewhat decide to somewhat a similar black somewhat 1.5 somewhat black heeled Kanochi ankle high boots. After somewhat slipping them on, she then proceeded to leave her apartment and lock it before she then started heading towards Training Ground 7. After a while of walking, she then decided that, somewhat being a bit bored and not really wanting to run over and not wanting to somewhat roof hop towards Training Ground 7, she decided to she'd pull her hair that she'd tied up into a ponytail and proceed to then start plaiting it. Though after a while she'd somewhat finish and somewhat tie the end up so that it wouldn't go undone. Just after she'd somewhat finished that, she'd then, within a couple of nanoseconds, should seemingly sway her hips even more so than what she generally does when walking, tilt her head somewhat even more so, overcorrecting her head with it swinging somewhat more, lifting up her now plaited ponytailed hair and tilting her head turning her head slightly would cause the plaited ponytail to go behind her back. Once it was, she'd somewhat level her head back straight, and would then also seem to correct these somewhat hip. Then seemingly correct how far she'd thrown her hip out, and then proceeded to just carry on walking like nothing had somewhat happened. Though what Shinobi would though the only people that would be able to see it would be the armed of the village, the most elite of ninja, and it would just be a blur even to them, into their eyes. And this feelings would just see 1 second that she had her beautiful red, blood red ponytail plaited hair somewhat running down her shoulder, and next it was behind her back, not even seeing what she had just done to get it behind her. Those should continue to head out and continue to somewhat walk, and they weren't seemingly stopping when she had started plaiting her hair or when she'd thrown it behind her back. And though 10-15 minutes later she'd arrive at training ground 7, well, yeah, I say 5-10 minutes later she'd arrive at training ground 7, and she'd seemingly see her other 2 teammates. Though she'd then somewhat hear voices, it'd be her pink-haired teammate, Sakura, she'd go, Naruto, as she'd somewhat just go, what? Sakura just blink, you're a girl? Well, yeah, obviously, I've always have been and always will be a female, Sakura. But, and Sakura just somewhat just somewhat surprised and shocked. Somewhat just at her, because she never once really thought that Naruto was a girl. Heck, she's pretty sure there was nobody in the class that actually knew that Naruto was a girl. Though she couldn't be further from the truth. There were only, well, somewhat 3 people that age that actually knew she was a girl in the class. 4 if you counted their sensei, Iruka. Iruka. Can't really say his last name, but yeah. Who somewhat Naruto had started to see and now saw as a older brother figure. And she's an orphan, as her parents died the night she was born. Yeah. Anyway. Though, as stated, Sakura can be far from the truth, as, of course, the somewhat seemingly lazy genius, or lazy Nara, being Shikamaru Nara, very much knew, and so did his friend Choji. Those 2, and thus the last person that knew that Naruto was indeed a female was Kiba Inuzuka, due to his somewhat clan's more seemingly canine appearance. They have a greater sense of smell and hearing, thus he could somewhat actually smell the somewhat her scent and the somewhat pheromones within the scent, marking her as female. As both boys and girls, obviously male and female, let out pheromones to state what gender they were, male or female. Hers were female, of course. And yeah, though the rest of the class believed that was indeed a male, and that's somewhat how she seemed to act. Because why not? If everyone believes you're male, why not? You know, it's just being just bad shinobi. Anyway, because shinobi are meant to see underneath, and if they can't, then they're bad. And if you're curious, well, how did Shikamaru and his somewhat best friend Choji find out that Naruto was a girl? Well, it was somewhat one day when they were around 7 to 8 years old. Somewhat Shikamaru and Choji were somewhat we're just somewhat talking with Naruto, and they would somewhat run into, Shikamaru would somewhat run into, his mum, not really running to, just encounter his mum, as she then somewhat, she then somewhat invite Naruto to somewhat come along the next day to somewhat, go down somewhat next to the river to, and somewhat not being a bit surprised with asked if she's sure, and Shikamaru's mother, which I can't remember her name at the very moment, his mother Yoshino, I'd decided and somewhat offered for Naruto to come, so they went after from it, that she was sure that she could very much come, Naruto somewhat thanked her and said that she would somewhat come by the Nara compound tomorrow for she somewhat nodded, and the next day Naruto somewhat arrived, seemingly somewhat looking relatively normal, though once they'd arrived at the somewhat river, Shikamaru and Choji and somewhat would somewhat of course get undressed to reveal their just swim shorts. Shikamaru's mum Yoshino had obviously had somewhat gotten undressed as well to show a somewhat two-piece bikini, and Naruto very much guessing that this was somewhat why they'd come down to said river. I'd also somewhat get undressed, revealing that she also though was wearing a one-piece swimsuit, and also obviously very much and also would somewhat put her hands together and somewhat say somewhat release, letting her actual somewhat seemingly blonde yellow spiky hair actually flow down into a somewhat blood red hair that she had somewhat in a bun. And that was the day in which Shikamaru and Choji had learnt that their somewhat close friend, though their somewhat close friend was indeed a girl. And anyway though, back to the present. Naruto would seem to walk over to Sasuke as she would then all of a sudden, and seemingly for no reason, lift up her leg very quickly, whacking Sasuke in between his legs, and Sasuke would then somewhat clench his private parts, his somewhat balls, and would collapse to the ground with tears in his eyes as he'd somewhat look up and glare at Naruto. Should go, well, that's what you get for looking at me like you own me, prick. I should then walk away. And that sensei, who had been watching this and had been there for at least an hour beforehand, could only somewhat think Kushina was right then and there when Naruto proceeded to whack Sasuke in the balls. He'd seen Kushina instead a somewhat somewhat younger looking Kushina, not the Kushina that he got to know, but similarly young Kushina that she had somewhat shown pictures of when she was somewhat younger. And it was just odd. And of course then somewhat behind her, he would seem to see like Kushina seemingly there crossing a somewhat much older 21-year-old Kushina, seemingly there behind her with her arms crossed with a massive smirk on her face. Somewhat looking at her and going, this is my daughter, Data Pain. And though he'd somewhat shake his head and the suddenly visions of Kushina behind Naruto would seemingly vanish, and he would decide right then to somewhat jump down to stop to possibly stop any further somewhat damage to someone's team, as from what he could remember from his story on which Kushina had Kushina had somewhat told him that which was that Kushina had once during a mission had had actually somewhat cut, quite frankly had made the somewhat a couple of anime shinobi into women, from being men into women, straight up castrating them. And if Naruto was any part like her mother, which she seemingly was, she could probably end up castrating Sasuke, and he didn't exactly want that. So yeah, he'd reveal himself a lot sooner than what you would have wanted. And yeah, Sakura would seemingly realise that their sensei was there and yell out that their sensei that he was late. Though he'd simply just go, "Mama," or he'd simply just sort of proceed to pull out his book and start reading, which would irate Sakura even more. As though he'd seemingly go, though Naruto do something had to explain why he looked at me like he owned me, sensei, and if you don't put that book away, I'll happily castrate you. I should then pull out a kunai and throw it. Somewhat seemingly very quickly, though he'd grab it out, though he'd just somewhat seemingly grab it out of the air with ease, though in reality somewhat he was though mentally he was somewhat just thanking himself he was fast enough, though he was just barely fast enough to actually grab it out of the air. And yeah, though sure it would have missed, and he knew, and he could somewhat tell that she'd purposely missed, but yeah, he would then somewhat actually do what she had said and would put his book away. Soon knowing that he'd probably never get to actually read his book while Naruto was round, but it was either he gets to read his book and end up being castrated, or not read it and keep his precious balls and penis, which he deemed was a lot more important than reading a provided book, his provided orange book. Yeah, though he'd perceived to say that that'd actually somewhat be, well, that somewhat for at least the next week he'd be training them as. And to then ask, well, what about next week? What are we going to be doing next week? Is Kakashi said, well, next week, well, actually, all in all, well, Hokage-sama had somewhat decided that due to the fact only teams 7, 8, and 10 had somewhat passed their genin test, that he decided that us three will somewhat train together, so somewhat 1 week, so say the first week of every month we will somewhat team 7 will be we'd say train by ourselves. Next week we'll be training with team 8, and the week after that, so the last week of the month, we'll be training with team 10, and then rinse and repeat every month. Got that? Hi. They would all three of them would say, though, Naruto would ask, how comes we just don't get to, how comes we say don't seem, yeah, how comes like we're not training with, like, how comes we're not training with, like, all together, and it's spread out like that? As Kakashi should go, well, I don't really know, though I presume like could be well, not really sure. That's a good question, Naruto. And I presume if you somewhat really want to know, you'd be better off asking the Hokage. So just somewhat nod, as so then somewhat state that the first thing they were going to training with the first thing that he's actually going to do is somewhat have a one-on-one spar with him to see where they were at in their somewhat taijutsu, which they'd somewhat nod as once sure he could have doing the somewhat true genin test, or second part of the genin exam, that he could have actually properly tested their taijutsu, though really he somewhat ended up getting a fireball from Sasuke, and somewhat Sakura had ended up passing out from a genjutsu. Naruto had somewhat hidden her true self and her true abilities, so yeah. And plus they may have also have just been holding back in general, which Naruto was doing somewhat. Those who'd somewhat state that the guys can go first, and Sakura would somewhat shoot straight up, and would somewhat state that and Kakashi would actually somewhat point at Sakura to start first, which Sakura would seemingly nod and somewhat look happy that he chose her, and he then somewhat remembered that Sakura was a fangirl, though glancing back over to Naruto, he'd somewhat then realised that she had no kunai and shokin pouch. Then again, he would then somewhat quite frankly remember, oh right, she's got a mid-thigh length skirt, so her kunai and shokin pouch are probably underneath that, hidden from view, which is actually somewhat good, because it means she could go really somewhat anywhere that maybe say weapons may not be allowed, due to the fact they could actually see it under her skirt, and if any male tried looking underneath there to see if any weapons, she could very much beat them up, and the person would obviously be the one in trouble, not her. So yeah, very smart to have it underneath the skirt. And so you'd perceive to then somewhat spar with Sakura, though the spar would only measly last 2 minutes, if not that. And Kakashi would somewhat be a bit somewhat disappointed. Really, the only thing she could simply, she saw Sakura seem to have the academy taijutsu down flawlessly, but her stamina was extremely lacking by the way she seemed to be parenting just barely even a minute in. And David somewhat tell her to somewhat stop, and Sakura would think that she done somewhat pretty well. Though Kakashi would somewhat see her seemingly somewhat smile and have this, and Kakashi would just somewhat mentally shake his head, as he'd think, she will probably very much get a rude awakening once he somewhat has a spy against Naruto. And he'd somewhat think as he'd go, actually it'd probably be better to fight against Sasuke, as his stamina isn't as high as Naruto's, or at least that's what the Hokage had stated, that Naruto was very much had a giant ton of stamina, which was proven true during the second genin test. So you then somewhat state that Sasuke, though Sakura then somewhat point out that Sasuke-kun wasn't a girl, and Kakashi would simply state that Sasuke had less stamina than Naruto, and that Naruto could very much drag the fight out for quite a long time, and didn't want to be and as such, didn't want to actually be tired by the time he got to Sasuke. Naruto would simply just nod at that and go, smart move, sensei, smart move. And yeah, Kakashi then proceeded to spar with Sasuke, with the spar lasting somewhat 5 or so minutes. Though they were definitely somewhat going a lot harder than Sakura obviously was, and obviously only being allowed taijutsu. Though once again, and yeah, of course, somewhat. Though the definite thing was that Sasuke seemed to be the one obviously charging, and as the fight progressed, his attacks went from coordinated to just pure uncoordinated, just random mess. And that was just using a lot more energy from obviously Sasuke, thus only lasting 5 minutes. That I knew wasn't initially warming himself up, thus no warm up pretty much meant that he would probably be hurting in a couple of minutes. Oh well, his own fault. Though from there, once he'd tell Sasuke to somewhat stop and go back and sit down, though Sasuke would seemingly somewhat have a slight smirk, thinking that he'd done the best of them all, as he would then somewhat look over at Naruto as he was already up and walking over. And she'd then somewhat stand in front of Kakashi would go, well then, you ready? I should go as ready as I'll be. And I know, no chakra. Kakashi just nod. As Kakashi go, well done, ready, set, fight. He'd stay he'd somewhat be ready, but nothing would seemingly happen, as they would then just seemingly stare at one another, as he'd somewhat wonder if Naruto was actually going to do anything, and then he'd somewhat wonder about maybe possibly going and grabbing his somewhat book, though he'd then somewhat seemingly close his eyes and shake his head. Though the next second, he'd then somewhat open them again and blink as he'd go, what the I did? As he then quickly turn around and somewhat grab her fist as he'd go, damn it, I let my guard down. And so you'd also think that she was also very fast to be able to get behind him within short span of time in which he couldn't see, and he let his guard down. From there they'd begin to actually somewhat fight, and initially they were around somewhat Sakura's seemingly pace, though slowly over a minute to a minute and a half would somewhat rapidly increase in speed and intensity, and before somewhat either one of them knew it, they were somewhat exceeding Sasuke's somewhat initial speed of attacking, which should cause Sasuke to somewhat then send the glare at Naruto for being better, and that the so-called dead last and thus female was a lot better than he was, a male shinobi, and one from the prodigious Uchiha clan, the so-called best clan of them all, that he believed. And though as time would continue to go on, time would take very easily past 5 minutes and into 10. And somewhat surprisingly, Kakashi had somewhat decided after 10 or so minutes, and somewhat decided to end the fight. Very much seeing that Naruto was very much unpredictable, but her unpredictable fight style was also incredibly efficient. seeing as they seemingly had gone past the 10-minute mark with neither of them, well, with very much Naruto not panting. Heck, she wasn't even sweating, whereas he seemingly, as someone he was, as fighting against someone who had no real fighting style was quite tough. And especially someone who could seemingly fight at around low to mid tuning speed could be quite tiring. And yeah, and someone then perceived to as someone sit down. Should not would someone walk over to the other her other two teammates and sit down. As Kakashi would somewhat go over and also somewhat sit down in front of them, I should go, well then, my impressions of the fight, well, Sakura, you were just disappointing. Massively disappointing. You've had, 6 or so years in the academy, yet you seem to only have chosen to chase after Sasuke. That's a massive disappointment. Like, Shinobi life is already hard, and Kunoichi's life is even harder. So you're a disgrace. Right now, Sakura, you're a massive disgrace to all Kunoichi. Sakura would somewhat seem hard and go, well, you don't. I know quite a lot of Kunoichis, Sakura. So watch what you say to me. I've seen very much Kunoichi just like you go out and either die or their team be killed and they be raped. I've seen it happen a lot of times, Sakura. It is why there are very few true Kunoichi in Konoha that have made the rank of Chunin, and even fewer have made the Jonin, and even fewer than that have made Anbu and still alive to this day. Very few indeed. So yes, you are very much a huge disgrace. Heck, every girl that I tried to graduate from your class was probably a massive disgrace, being all fangirls. The only girl not disgrace, I'd probably say the only girl that, to my knowledge, that hadn't disgraced the Kunoichi name would be Naruto herself. But besides from that, to my knowledge, all the other girls would be disgraceful. Disgraceful. And before any of you start moaning about but Hinata, he wouldn't know of Hinata's somewhat file. He would only have Sasuke, Sakura, and Hinata's file, not. He wouldn't have, just a stack of every single Kunoichi in that academy. In Iruka's academy class, so he was just assuming that they were all Sasuke fangirls. So, yeah. Anyway, Sakura would look very much a lot hard. And would then look at Sasuke and go, well, for one, you are okay, though you definitely need to work on your taijutsu, your stamina, your emotional control, and also your superiority complex. Don't think I didn't notice the second we passed 5-minute mark and we were starting to fight a lot. And I was starting to somewhat pressure Naruto a lot more, even more than what I put on you. Yeah, there will always be somebody stronger than you, Sasuke, so grow up. So you then look over to someone Naruto and go, well, you're somewhat overall good. Your obviously somewhat fighting style is very much unpredictable, which is very much good. The only thing I could say is obviously to somewhat get stronger and get faster. Do those two things and even the somewhat strongest or fastest you could ever face would be no match for your unpredictable fighting style. So you'd somewhat nod and say thanks, being the only one to thanks for the information and where to somewhat proceed in taijutsu. Yeah, and she'd somewhat state that he should also somewhat seemingly focusing speed, as she'd state that a lot of the time when we're somewhat sparring, you seem to almost want to go and grab your other eye, which I'm not going to say what it is underneath that, as yes, I have done some research on you, sensei. And yes, I know what's underneath there, and I'd say by the amount of time by the sheer amount of times you've wanted to go and lift that up, I presume you seem to rely a bit too much on that eye underneath there. Kakashi would somewhat be a bit surprised, but would nod and thank her for the information, and somewhat thank her for the the information, and he would then try and somewhat focus, and he knew he'd been lax in his training, and it somewhat obviously showed that getting should be relatively easy for him. Well, Sasuke and Sakura were, though a tuning should also be it should be somewhat relatively easy, considering he was borderline S rank when he was in Anbu, yet Naruto was hard for was somewhat hard. Sure, she was somewhat her fighting style was unpredictable, but still, that's no excuse. Actually, that would just hammer home just how weak he got. That somebody who had no fighting style and had seemed to get very efficient at being unpredictable was pushing him and making him sweat. And yet she didn't look like he'd pushed her at all. Though then again, he'd remember from hearing the stage she had probably she had an insane amount of stamina, considering she seemed to run about the place a lot. Yeah. Anyway then, from there, he'd then somewhat tell them that they would somewhat have a couple minutes break to get either their breath back, cool down, or think about what is stated, and would then proceed to go into that next. What he's going to start training them in. They would nod, and during that somewhat minute or so break, he would remember somewhat the day before, when he'd somewhat come to report his team passing. And after somewhat obviously asking Kunai, Asuma, and Kakashi himself to stay, and after somewhat telling them obviously they'd be training and to somewhat work out themselves, which they were about to, though he'd asked if Kakashi could stay behind, as he'd wanted to speak to him, as this would be somewhat what Kakashi would be remembering. So flashback. Kage-sama, what is it do you somewhat want to speak to me about? Well, Kakashi, as I've just somewhat told you three, that about somewhat that I want you three to train on one another's team, and at least have a somewhat break as well during the 1 month, which Kakashi would nod. He'd go, well, the reason why I actually wanted to speak to you is because I want you to actually train your team. Kage-sama? Kakashi, I know you've gone through a lot, but though we're somewhat, don't worry, but I've got this feeling that we're gonna hit hard times ahead. So I want you to actually train your team, Hatake. I don't want you to lazy around and just do missions, and the only training they get is when they're training with team 8 or 10. Got it? Hi. That, and I don't want you to show any favoritism when training them. And make sure somewhat they know it, and also, if any of them perceive to somewhat not want to work as a team, don't train them at all. But don't feel bad, Hatake. For one, Sakura's a fangirl. Training her would only reinforce the fangirl inside of her. That as long as she stays as a fangirl, she's going to receive training from you. Same with Sasuke. As long as he stays arrogant, he's going to get training from you. He's getting what he wants. But if they start acting, say, more, as a team player, and they start obviously working with Naruto, as much as Naruto may hate both of them, she'll very much put her dislike for them aside and work with them to achieve their goal or mission, whatever that may be. Kakashi would just somewhat nod, and he's going, plus Sasuke, don't forget, has got an entire clan library to himself, Hatake, with many jutsu. And so if he demands any amount of training for him, well, he's got an entire library, probably more than over 1,000 jutsu in there. That, well, unlike what you're named, they're named obviously very much for stealing, which Kakashi just not very much knowing that the jutsus tend to, quite frankly, like stealing jutsus, and that Kakashi was in fact not called, Kakashi the jutsu stealer, but Kakashi the Sharingan. And obviously in, some of the bingo book, or at least when the Uchihas were around, most Uchihas, when it said somewhat clan Uchiha, the somewhat, or dojutsu, the somewhat Sharingan, the eye of, somewhat the clan of jutsu stealers, somewhat clan Uchiha, the clan of jutsu stealers, as they tend to copy the jutsu and then perceive to somewhat, very much steal it and take the credit. So, and as he'd then somewhat come back to reality, as he'd somewhat say, it would somewhat be hard for him, though he knew that that if his sensei had this team, so if Minato had this team, he would very much do what Hiruzen had somewhat told him to do. Heck, Hiruzen wouldn't have even had to tell him, had to tell Minato, because Minato would have just done that. Heck, he did with his team 7. So him himself, Kakashi, Rin and Obito, he didn't really train them up until they had started to somewhat start working as a team, or him and Obito and Rin started somewhat losing her fangirlism, once both of them started working as a team, and that he somewhat started, the reward was training. And obviously Kakashi working with them, thus they started getting training, and they started getting out of that somewhat idealism of either somewhat being alone and stronger, and that's what he's gonna do here with this team. And after 5 minutes, you then somewhat get up and tell them that their time for rest was over, and that you tell them that they'd somewhat start that the only thing he will somewhat really train them all in together was chakra control. Sasuke, he would somewhat go, "What? I'm in Uchiha." I should go, "Enough. You don't demand anything from me. Genin Uchiha. And unless you start working with the other two as a team, you will receive no training other than this chakra control exercise. You'll get nothing more from me. Same goes for you, Sakura. As long as you continue to act as long as you continue to act as a fangirl, you'll get no training from me. And as long as you also perceive to somewhat look down on Naruto, oh no, I won't help you in any training whatsoever. Got that? Hi, sensei. As he then someone look at Naruto should go, what? I presume that the old man's already told you, but I may very much dislike them, but I am willing to work with anyone. Kakashi just nod and go, well, as long as you keep that mentality, you will continue to get training from me. Got it? Hi, sensei. Should say, and should then somewhat also say back, and as long as you don't read that book and come on time, you'll keep your manhood. As Kakashi somewhat sweat drop, and though mentally would somewhat gulp and would just nod and go, got that's a deal there. And yeah, and he'd proceed to show them how to tree walk. And with that, a week would go by, and that's where I'm going to end this what if here, guys. So if you have enjoyed this what if, comment guys down below, and do you want this somewhere in, and do you guys want a part 2 to this? Do you want to see somewhat how Naruto, female Naruto and Shikamaru's relationship develops? Somewhat, will they become boyfriend and girlfriend by the end of the Chunin exams, or by the end of or will somewhat Shikamaru realise his love too late and Naruto would already be gone on the 3-year training trip? You guys will just have to somewhat wait and find out. If you guys want this to be somewhat into a series and have another part with that, hope you guys have a good day or night, depending on wherever you are and whenever you're watching this. Stay safe and good